once you under once you understand that there are problems need to be solved, and these problems must be solved in a way that is acceptable to everyone, because the way you solve problems tends to affect everyone. So it has to be in a way that is acceptable for everyone, right? It needs to be beneficial for all of us. Now, naturally, what that means is that, okay, so you have a valuable goal, right? You have a problem, and the goal is to solve that problem, right? Now, that means that there's going to be like groups of people trying to solve that problem, right? And naturally, what that does is that it's going to create a hierarchy of skill, right? So some people are going to be better at solving specific problems than others, right? And so what will happen is that those people who are better at solving specific problems will end up being at the top, right? So you can imagine this in the sense of anyone who has ever been competent at anything, right? Um, um, and, and, and and this is something really important, because most of us tend to think that hierarchies are formed as a result of power, right? So it's the people who are at the top are exercising um, uh, power and control over those who are at the bottom. But instead, that's actually a lie. Our hierarchies are formed through competence. So it's the people who are good at doing specific things who tend to be at the top, right? And you see, um hierarchies do not solely operate on power, and I think Piaget talked about this. So he imagined life as an infinite set of games, right? So what happens, he theorized that if human beings decide to play a series of games, those games which are voluntary will end up at the top of those games which are forced, because most of the energy which could be used, which could be expended into the game, is spent enforcing people to play the game. So that leads to, of course, wastage of energy. So the games that end up being on the top, at the top, are games which are participated in voluntarily, right? So that basically shows you that our hierarchies are actually agreements. We agree to put someone at the top, and this is something that is accepted throughout the whole hierarchy, right? So and this was what John Locke theorized, right? He stated that it's not that the leader is lording over the subordinates, but it is the subordinates who have agreed to put the leader at the top, right? And this was different from what Hobbes, the thoughts of Thomas Hobbes, who thought that the leader is elected by is elected by God, and he or she lords over the subordinates. But Locke came out and pointed out that it's a social agreement to have the leader at the top. And if it gets to the point whereby the leader at the top abuses his position and becomes tyrannical over the subordinates can rise and overthrow the leader and select someone who all of them have accepted that this person should be at the top,